All right, I got another one for you. Last time I said that Delita Hyrule is the equivalent to the Sengoku period's Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and how he rose from being a peasant to a king. What if I told you that Ramza Beoulve, the real main character of Final Fantasy Tactics, is also related to one of the greatest samurai warriors of all time in Japanese history? Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Dorian Andrews, aka Dory Dorell, with the Dory Dorell Music Channel, formerly known as Dorio TV. And I just want to encourage everyone to please like, comment, and subscribe for all the latest news and reviews coming to this channel. So please don't forget to click that notification bell. Also, why not share it? Go ahead and click that share button and share it with all your friends and family. This is real, this is authentic, unfiltered discussion. One parallel that I forgot to mention between Delita Hyrule and Toyotomi Hideyoshi is they both were victims of assassination attempts. In the Ivalice Chronicles, you don't see it because they actually cut that content out. But if you play War of the Lions, there are specific scenes in which you must play as Delita and Ovelia in order to continue on in the story. There's one scene in which there are two assassins who attempt to assassinate the princess, and Delita stands in her place, and he takes the blunt of the shuriken that was thrown at her. And after that, he says, oh, it's only a graze, and he decides to take the lives of these assassins. How does this relate to Toyotomi Hideyoshi? Well, in Japanese history, there's a very big, infamous figure who was known as a thief and a Robin Hood of sorts in that time. His name was Ishikawa Goemon. He is infamous for infiltrating the palace of the Toyotomi, trying to steal gold and valuable items, while also attempting to assassinate Toyotomi Hideyoshi in his sleep. However, there's a lot of rumors and myths as to how he was captured, but some rumors include him tipping over something, or he made a sound and he might have broke something, or maybe there was an incense that he accidentally tripped over. Something made a sound and it alarmed all of the guards, and they ended up capturing him. We don't know exactly how he died, but some people say that he was boiled alive. And if he had a son, I'm not sure if he did, but some rumors say that if he did have a son, then he was boiled alive as well. That's just a little quick comparison or a quick parallel that I wanted to just give. Today, we're going to talk about Ramza Beoulve. Now, who is Ramza Beoulve? He is the main character of the story. He comes from the noble family, the Beoulve family. His father is called the Gallant Knight, or Knight Gallant, and he was a very powerful and influential figure in the war for Ivalice. And even though he lost some battles, he fought very valiantly and always stood up for the disenfranchised and helped people out. His main goal in life was to just follow his code as a knight. He was very stoic, and he always made sure that honor came first above all other things. He didn't care about politics. He didn't care about his status. He didn't care about rising the ranks. He just wanted to do what was right in his eyes. He wanted to be just in his convictions, even at the cost of his title, even at the cost of public perception. Unfortunately, he was succumbed to illness and he passed away. So, Ramza, dealing with the loss of his father, now he has these high stakes. He has to figure out what he's gonna do. He decides, you know what, I'm gonna go to the academy and I'm going to train to be a knight just like my father. And I'm going to be a knight of the Northern Sky. along with his best friend Delita. How does that relate to today's samurai warrior? Today we are talking about Honda Tadakatsu, who is known as a samurai general and daimyo of the late Sengoku era through early Edo periods. And he served the one and only Ieyasu Tokugawa. Alright, so I want to give you guys 3 reasons why I think Ramza Beoulve and Honda Tadakatsu are so much alike. First reason is success in battle at an early age. Number 2, forgotten but crucial to history. Without them, history would have never changed the way that it did. And number 3, they both experienced great losses. They've seen so much tragedy. Honda Tadakatsu was one of the Tokugawa 4 heavenly kings, or Shitenno, along with 3 other guys who are very great generals. It was reported that he never suffered a single wound despite participating in a total of 57 military campaigns throughout his life. So this man is an amazing general who never received any wounds. Look at Ramza. He did great feats, and this boy, he's a kid. He's just a kid, and he has to grow up so quickly, and yet he's defeating these war-torn generals. He's defeating these Templar knights. He's defeating these powerful figures who are way older than him. That's the same thing that happened with Honda Tadakatsu. Like, he was defeating people that were twice his age. Tadakatsu was born in 1548 in Kuramae Nukata in the Mikawa province, which is present-day Nishi Kuramae Okazaki, which is in the Aichi prefecture. He's the eldest son of Honda Tadataka. The Honda clan was one of the oldest Anjo Fudai families, a family of Fudai daimyo who had been serving Tokugawa Ieyasu since he was in Anjo. In 1560, Tadakatsu participated in his first battle, in the Battle of Washizu Fort, where he accompanied his father, and later he also participated in Ieyasu's campaign during the siege of Odaka Castle, which occurred before the Battle of Okeyazama. If you don't know Okeyazama, that is the great battle in which Oda Nobunaga defeated the Imagawa clan, and Imagawa Yoshimoto, who was the leader of that time, the great daimyo, he was murdered during that great battle, and ever since that battle, the Imagawa clan's rise to power quickly faded. I mean, they became so obscure that they were wiped off of the face of the map. In 1561, it was said that he was aged just 14 years old when Tadakatsu recorded his first kill in battle. What do you see in Final Fantasy Tactics? You see Ramza. He is participating in his first mission where he has to rout these brigands from the Corpse Brigade, and they're literally just trying to get some food to eat. They're stealing stuff, they're terrorizing the people on the streets just to get something to eat. Ramza's mission is to get rid of them. And once the brigands find out who it is, they're like, oh, he's from House Beoulve. Oh, we're gonna get a lot of money for his ransom. Oh, we're gonna kidnap this guy, or we're gonna kill him, and then, you know, the Southern Sky or whoever is gonna pay us very greatly for this. So Ramza, with Delita and his band of nobodies, just regular old cadets, defeats members of the Corpse Brigade. What else does he do? He goes out and eventually defeats other brigands and rescues Argath, who is the apprentice of the Marquis Elmdor. Rout the Corpse Brigade again, find out their whereabouts, confront Wheatgraph, defeat Maluda, who was his sister, who was kind of like the lieutenant in their brigade. All of these feats that he's completing, he's still a cadet, all of chapter 1, you're still a cadet as Ramza. So for him to do that at such a young age is amazing. And that parallels to Tadakatsu getting his first kill at age 14, killing people twice his age. At first, his uncle, Honda Tadazane, killed an enemy samurai and asked Tadakatsu to cut off the corpse's head as trophy for Tadakatsu. However, Tadakatsu stated that he did not want to rely on others to achieve military merit. Tadakatsu followed suit by charging towards the enemy rank and made his own trophy by killing an enemy by his own hand. He said, "I don't need your help to make a name. I'm gonna make a name for myself by myself." That is amazing. If that's not a cool samurai, I don't know what is. And the crazy thing is, a lot of people don't talk about Honda Tadakatsu. So I don't know why. People go straight to Sanada Yukimura, people go straight to Date Masamune, but they completely forget about this amazing general. When you look at Honda Tadakatsu, his influence in the Tokugawa army is so great. Without Honda Tadakatsu, there would be no Tokugawa period. There would be no Edo period. There would be no peace for 200 plus years in Japan after the Warring States period. He was the rock that Ieyasu stood on to assert his military might. Tadakatsu Honda, he never received a severe injury in any battle. So that shows his prowess and his skill. He had a very famous spear, the Tombugiri. Ramza Beoulve, he fought through all these battles, even defeating Ultima. You never see him get a scratch on him. He is fighting bravely. Without him, Ivalice would have never known peace. Without him, Ivalice, the world itself would be gone if he never confronted the Templar Knights. If he never fought against the church would have ruled over the entire of Ivalice through demons, through Ultima and his plan to defeat the Curia, the gods of their world. So Ramza's actions saved the world. Honda Tadakatsu's actions led to 200 plus years of peace within Japan. Actually, they never experienced peace that long up until that point. He's the reason that happened. Honda Tadakatsu is forgotten in history. When you ask a regular Japanese person about samurai history and Japanese history, they do not go to him as the first person they think of. Who's your favorite figure in that time? A lot of people go to Oda Nobunaga, a lot of people go to Sanada Yukimura and Date Masamune. They never talk about Honda Tadakatsu. It's the same thing with Final Fantasy Tactics. They go straight to Delita Hyrule. He is the hero of the story. He is the one who came from nothing to something, and he became king. But Ramza is the true hero, and that is what the derived papers expose and explain. He sees the nobility treat his best friend like dirt just because he was born a peasant. Even though Delita was adopted into the Beoulve household, he wasn't seen as an equal ever. And Argath made that very clear. Daisadog and Zalbag made that clear in certain dialogue. Crisis that Ramza faced was when he was trying to save Delita's sister at Fort Z. Not only did Argath kill Delita's sister, Titra, it was Ramza's own brother, Zalbag, who gave the order, which was probably directly from his other brother, Lord Daisadar. If you can just imagine how impactful that had to be in that moment. Ramza is thinking, oh my God, I just witnessed my brother betray our family by letting his adopted sister die. Delita hates my guts and wants to kill me while we're fighting together. Argath is trying to kill me next because he doesn't understand why I see this as a problem. And my own brothers ordered this hit. So they don't even view her as a sister. They don't even view her as family. He's going through all these complex emotions, trying to process it while also fighting to defeat Argath and save Delita. That was the last time he saw his best friend for a long time. That was a big loss for Ramza. He never really got his friend back after that. After that point in the game, Delita is off doing his own thing and Ramza loses his best friend. So who did Honda Tadakatsu lose? In 1572, during the Takeda clan campaign in Mikawa, Tadakatsu participated in the forces of the Tokugawa, and Ieyasu sent him many generals to lead the vanguard, where they would meet the Takeda forces led by Yamagata Masakage and Baba Nobuharu at the Battle of Hitokotosaka. And Yamagata Masakage is known to be the inspiration for Ii Naomasa's red armor, which is why they called Ii Naomasa the Red Devil. So Yamagata Masakage was the original Red Devil because he wore red armor as well. The battle that happened the very next year, 1573, was the Battle of Mikatakahara, where he commanded the left wing of his master's army, facing off against troops under one of the Takeda clan's most notable generals, Naito Masatoyo. In the prelude of the battle, Tadakatsu managed to ward off the first wave. However, the Tokugawa forces were getting overrun by the next waves of Takeda forces. In the last phase of the battle, Tadakatsu reportedly fought alongside Sakakibara Yasumasa, engaging Takeda general named Oyamada Masayuki, while Ishikawa Kazumasa was busy covering the retreat of Ieyasu from the battle. In the end, the Tokugawa forces managed to withdraw safely from the battle due to a great performance by Tadakatsu in organizing the cover of the retreat. But a little insight into this battle. The Tokugawa were trying to attack the Takeda to knock them off their guard, because the Takeda were already attacking Mikawa the year before and trying to gain a foothold there and gain some land there. But this time, Ieyasu said, no, we're going to take the fight to you this time. We're going to attack you and strike you head on. We're not going to show any weakness, use our strategy, and they did the best they could to win that battle. The problem is Takeda Shingen, who is the leader of the Takeda clan, or was the leader at that time, he was one of the best tacticians in all of the Sengoku period, in all of Japan. Still in history, he is known as one of the greatest strategists. So you can't outduel him. You can't outmatch his wit. So he came up with so many different traps and strategies and formations to just completely confuse the Tokugawa army. And they lost a lot of good generals from that battle. But Tadakatsu Honda put it on himself to make sure that Tokugawa Ieyasu was brought to safety. And if it wasn't for him, there's a possibility that Tokugawa Ieyasu could have been killed during that battle. But he did experience a lot of loss. You know, just report after report after report that general after general after general was getting routed and killed along with his entire flank. Now, a little bit later on, Nobunaga was murdered in 1582. He was betrayed by his own general, Akechi Mitsuhide, which is a famous story. He was destroyed in his own temple, which was the Temple of Honnoji, where he resided. After that, you had Toyotomi Hideyoshi, Tokugawa Ieyasu, and Shibata Katsuie vying for power to become the heir or the next in line to succeed Oda Nobunaga's legacy. And in 1584, 2 years after the incident, Tadakatsu participated in the Komaki campaign of Tokugawa against Toyotomi Hideyoshi. After the Battle of Komaki Nagakute, the front line in the northern Owari reached stalemate. Even though that campaign did not successfully lead to victory, it was more of a stalemate and eventually a truce. That was a big loss for Tokugawa Ieyasu in the sense of winning and losing, not really losing a lot of people. Of course there was bloodshed, of course there was a lot of soldiers and troops that were gone, but it was in a sense of he lost his chance to become the successor of Oda Nobunaga at that time. He did end up being the official unifier of Japan after Toyotomi Hideyoshi passed away. That was a big loss. The Sekigahara campaign was almost a disaster because if it weren't for select generals actually betraying their lords in order to tip the scales in the favor of the Tokugawa army and the alliance that they made with other warlords, Tadakatsu Honda would have lost everything. So that battle was very bloody. It is actually considered one of the bloodiest battles in Japanese history, if not #1. Another big loss that Honda Tadakatsu experienced was at the Battle of Sekigahara, which was the definitive battle between the Eastern Army led by the Tokugawa and the Western Army led by a coalition of people who ultimately wanted the Toyotomi to continue their reign under the direction of a man named Ishida Mitsunari. This is after Toyotomi Hideyoshi passed away. Tadakatsu rode his horse, Mikuni Guro, to penetrate the ranks of the camps of Shimazu Yoshihiro and Ukita Hideye. It's very hard to say his name. Two of the Western Army's commanders. However, Tadakatsu's beloved horse, Mikuni Guro, was shot or hit by an arrow. It could have been a musket or an arrow. During this moment, forcing Tadakatsu to desperately fight in the middle of the enemy soldiers' encirclement until his senior vassal, Katsutada Kaji, came to his rescue and offered his horse to Tadakatsu, who was still being surrounded by the enemies. But also you see Ramza Beoulve experience a lot of loss. His friend Delita, Maluda, who was Wheatgraft's sister, he really wanted to help her. He wanted to save her, but he was so naive into thinking that anything would change. And that is ultimately why Maluda refuses help. And then when he decides to become a mercenary, he loses Gafgarian, who is his mentor, a mercenary that he goes under the wing of. And he decides to learn from this person. His blade was unmatched. He was so skillful. And for Ramza to see him betray their cause, to betray the princess just to get some coin, he loses his faith in the church because he finds out it's all fake. He finds out they're all hypocrites and they're being controlled by demons, and the demons are trying to rule over the world. And he loses his respect for so many high valued individuals such as Marquis de Elmdor. He revered him as one of the greatest generals in the war. He gets controlled by a demon and he has to fight an Elmdor who is being controlled by Lucavi. It shatters his expectation of meeting these people. Loses respect for brothers, fighting on the wrong side, just fighting just to gain power. Daisadar using the death of his father, which he orchestrated, the death of Duke Larg, which he orchestrated just to gain power for their house. He loses respect for his brother Zalbag because he notices that Zalbag will not hear him out. Even though he's trying to tell him the truth, Zalbag doesn't want to hear it. Even though he still loves Zalbag, he's disappointed and he's like confused, like, why wouldn't you believe me just because I'm, your half brother? One more loss that he has, which is Oren Durai, who is a friend and comrade he met during, I want to say it was chapter 3 or chapter 4. He meets Oren, who is the son of Count Orlando, who eventually joins your group. Oren was a really, really intellectual person, but when he wrote down all of the things that happened that he saw in those 5 years, he chronicled that Ramza was the true hero, and the church did not want to hear that. So you know what they did? They burned him alive. They took him and they executed him because they could not let the truth out. So Ramza still lost another friend, even at the end of the game. You think he went through all this loss, even in dialogue, even in text. He's losing something. So Ramza went through so much stuff. So for him to be so positive and so optimistic about humanity, it is a testament to show that he was invincible. No matter what happened, he always stood up for what was right. And that's exactly what Honda Tadakatsu did. He stood up for his lord at all times. And even when he was in a losing situation, he never bucked. He never went against the grain. He never questioned his lord. He's like, look, if this is what you're gonna do, I'm gonna stand by you 100%. I will be your shield, even if that means my death. And he was successful and he was flawless because of that. So what do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe for more coming to this channel. This is your boy, Dory Durrell. New music coming out soon, so stay tuned. So this is your boy, signing out. Deuce, deuce.